क्लास ए का आईपी एड्रेस हो जाएगा तुम्हारा 1052.36.11। ठीक है। सेकंड क्वेश्चन, सिंगल सेंट्रल केबल में आता है बस टोपोलॉजी। सिंगल कंट्रोल केबल में आता है बस टोपोलॉजी। थर्ड क्वेश्चन, ट्रांसमिटिंग रो बिट्स ओवर फिजिकल मीडियम में काम करता है फिजिकल लेयर। बिकॉज ऑफ फिजिकल मीडियम यहाँ पे है तो फिजिकल लेयर काम करेगा। मोस्ट वोलेटाइल मेमोरी जो होता है वो डी रैम होता है, नॉट ए पार्ट ऑफ एक्सिलरी मेमोरी, प्रोम होता है। वेबसाइट यूज टू फाइंड सम इन्फो अबाउट टॉपिक सर्च इंजन। मैक्स जूम परसेंटेज इन पावर पॉइंट 400%। मैक्सिमम नंबर ऑफ रोज इन MX Excel is 1048578. Popular example of OS MS Windows. Function of OS responsible for auxiliary file secondary file and disk management. Virus spread mostly through network infected means pen drive. Input device is user programmable intelligent terminal. Function key activities, the speller is F7. MS Word to subscript selected text, control plus. Speed of clock frequency of a micro measured in hertz, usually located below title bar provides menu bar. RTF typically Windows WordPad. Not an input device, plotter. A skimmer is a type of what used fraudulent cyber attack. Multiple signals into form of transmission called is multiplexing. Not an OS. MS Office relationship in MS Access is established between two tables based on common field. ठीक है। Does not help in grading computer against malicious. ब्राउजर होगा इसका। MS Word फाइंड और रिप्लेसमेंट डायलॉग बॉक्स में यूज होता है, कंट्रोल H। फाइंड डिवाइस कनेक्टेड टू पर्सनल कंप्यूटर होता है आपका कंट्रोल पैनल। stored in terms of GB, terabyte is equal to 1024 GB. Responsible for displaying web browser, rendering engine. Speed of supercomputer is measured in floating point operation per second. Type of a scanner, drum scanner. Shortcut key, go to last line in document, control plus end. File comparison works by removing the unneeded date. Process of copying files to a CD is called burning. Next question है हमारा, kind of storage device can be affected by fragmentation. Magnetic. CDC 3600 Univac 1/2 generation. MS Word Control E central alignment. Commonly used in unit for measuring speed of data transfer bits per second. Key feature of 5G technology, low latency. Memory management scheme process divided into fixed size part that can be stored in anywhere, that is paging. ठीक है। मेमोरी मैनेजमेंट का स्कीम प्रोसेस विच इज डिवाइडेड इनटू फिक्स साइज, वो जो डिवाइड करता है फिक्स साइज पार्ट ऑफ दैट कैन बी स्टोर्ड इन एनीवेयर इन रैम, दैट इज कॉल्ड पेजिंग। ओके। क्लाउड कंप्यूटिंग अलाउ यूजर टू ओनली पे फॉर रिसोर्स, दैट इज पे एज यू गो। ओके। नेटवर्क आर्किटेक्चर सिक्योर सॉकेट लेयर इज यूज्ड एज प्रेजेंटेशन लेयर। ठीक है। सिक्योर सॉकेट लेयर में यूज होता है प्रेजेंटेशन का। उसके बाद नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन 41, मैक्स लेंथ इन बाइट्स IP4 डेटा टाइप इज 6535। ओके। 42 में मोस्ट रिलेवेंट एड्रेसिंग मोड राइट पोजीशन इंडिपेंडेंट इज रिलेटिव, बिकॉज ऑफ रिलेटिव मोड। ओके। नाउ टेक मेंटेन्स टेबल ऑफ एक्टिव कनेक्शंस एंड मेक्स डिसीजन बेस्ड ऑन द कनेक्शंस, स्टेटफुल इंस्पेक्शन फॉरवर्ड। connections and make decision based on the connections. Stateful inspection, direction of rectangular page for viewing and printing orientation. Okay. Application program that gather user info and send some spyboard. Gather user info and send somewhere that is spyboard. MS Excel 24 is the absolute. There will be two original ASCII code. Each byte is reversing as error code at 7. Next code. Valid volatile memory is cache, session, DRAM. Run command ms PowerPoint is PowerPoint. Shortcut key combination used to start slideshow F5. Not a search engine web crawler. Not a search engine web crawler. Command is used to display disk space using info. dir. Which computer used personally? Microcomputer. Translate entire source code at once. Benefit example of compiler. Translate entire code source code at once before executing compiler. Permanently store essential. Permanently store ROM. Okay. Email is not a way to transmit data secure where clause is multiple in command can be rollback delete. OLAP operation performs aggregation on OLAP queue rollup. SMTP port 25 protocol in apps layer established. Manage terminates. Session integration portal. Media access control sublayer resides in data link. Media access control sublayer resides in data link. Okay, next question is crypto algo used for digital signature and public key RSA. Example of bit oriented protocol HDLC. High level data link. Superclass reference to point subclass object polymorphism. Superclass reference to point a subclass object polymorphism. Header file is required to use file IO operation FS stream. Required to use file IO FS stream. String class is Java part which package Java lang package. A string class in Java part which package Java lang package. Lower degree of cohesion is kind of coincidental cohesion. Defect rate for per 6 sigma 3.64 defect millions of lines of code. Defense deep learning framework often used for financial fraud and TensorFlow. Model is trained to classify email as spam or not as spam. Supervised learning. GDPR image. GDPR impact cloud use mostly by regulating data privacy. Data at rest security is stored. Data at rest security means protecting data as stored. HTML5 used to define independent specification, that is article. Used to add element end of an array. JavaScript push. Server side web framework Django. Attack where malicious JS code infected into website potential affects user cross-site scripting. By default time in a minute. When page session end 20 minutes. Process generates from ciphertext from some plain symmetric encryption. RBI guideline must have used at least 120-bit generator IP46 strength 32-bit. Every node is connected to other node in network is mesh. Telnet is text. Auxiliary memory is computer is magnetic tape. Apart from internet connection required to access web page web browser. Ghosted text watermark to add header footer to your handout master error can compiler check syntax error. Third generation language high language. Cyber attack target that multiple interconnected devices simultaneously. Large scale attack is botnet attack. Dropbox cloud storage giving up to 2 GB port transmit 1 bit data through the swiper is serial port. Next 94 PDF files. PDF files can be changed manipulated which apps Adobe Acrobat not a file sharing app is sharply. MS Excel right to arrow is group rows or columns. Command takes you to first slide your PowerPoint is Control plus home. Shortcut keys used to check spelling and grammar F7 because CPU is responsible for fetching and decoding instruction is control unit not responsible by their but directly access maximum CPU during execution is register. Term use interface refers to what your user sees on the screen, then how can interact based on task you are performing. Mouse pointer produce the best quality graphics reproduction plot or condition that occurs when the computer system spends more than time swiping between the RAM and hard disk rather than executing thrashing. Command display the current working directory. PWD data warehouse which sequence which type of table loaded first. Dimension table constraint used to define rule for columns value is check. True about normalized labels. True about normalized labels. For NF remove multi-value dependency product matrix given the measure of every length of the word sentence in document fog index. Kokomo algorithm. Kokomo algorithm function point metric based Delphi expert system. Putnam statistical distribution hypervisor of instead of inside existing OS or type 2 LAN tech became obstacle. Token ring network is used to ensure data is immediately transmitted received without the buffering. PSH layer at the converts two frames. The fragmentation of data link layer describe the DFS data encryption standard blocks. If a digital signature provide plain symmetric encryption, non-repudiation firewall that transmits client connection, then open you into to serve act as proxy firewall. Attack exploit a student's nature HTTP protocol sending a large number of incomplete GFS that is slow traversal technique. List nodes of binary search in ascending order in order. Next, access a specifier restricted visibility class member within the same class is derived class is protected. Parameter type parameter type in Python allow function to accept variable number of arguments as a tuple of star args. Introduce HTML for strictly content section. Converting a raw input data into useful into not performed by all computer is switching. Which generation computer first introduced mini computer? Improved time sharing multiprogramming of third. Used to connect mouse and keyboard. CPU USB a terminal with its own memory processor and firmware that will perform certain functionality independently. Intelligent terminal display the port interface for digital displaying particularly computer monitors and connector. 20 pin computability with regard to computer refers to the software being able to run on the computer. Okay, software works with end user apps. Software and computer hardware handle majority tech details. System software memory is in which permanently written during manufacturing. ROM. Next, RAM of computer is called primary memory. A storage capacity of magnetic disk back of disk surface. A stored data permanently hard disk. A stored data permanently hard disk. A smallest and fastest type of located inside the processor register. A smallest and fastest type of memory located directly inside processor register. Take used in compact disk ledger. Father of internet Vinit curve. First email sent 1971. Type of network allow user from outside to access internet of an organization. Extranet. Register represents XML format. MS Word docs not a valid. MS Excel formula some add. First computer language used machine language. Unauthorized blank account occurring a transaction is hacking. Malicious computer program used to hack into computer misleading about true intent that is Trojan horse. CD-ROM compact disk read only memory not performed by computers storing data permanently. A standard feature of laptop touchpad. Capacity of communication channel measured in bandwidth. When program Windows is closed, icon disappear from that is taskbar. Professional knowledge में आ जाओ 149 से represent all rows that are R1 but not in R2. R1 minus R2. Main purpose of heuristic function in AI. Estimate the cost from the state of to goal. Messaging protocol designed from in unreliable network construction. Monitoring MQTT. Default port number RDP 3389. Latent space in general. Latest space in generative AI intermediate apps. Abstract external fragmentation command associated with continuous memory allocation in asymmetric encryption used to encrypt message sender public key. Standard used for digital certificate in public key X.509, X.509, not used for data validation, that is numpy. Okay. Python library Python library is used for data mining, machine learning, skitlearn. Command used to check exit structure at last executes question mark help prevent SQL injection attack, validating and sanitizing user input. DNS resolve translate domain into root server, TLD server, authorization, save, return IP address, not a graph traversal technique. Heap. Google Cloud Google Cloud File Store example of cloud services DBS process of software development cycle adopt BTS ISO IES 122 if a student complete address consider a hardware that is street city and composite address. C++ using this is as an argument of stream of not funding. Open the file and sets position to end file including keypad that can be used connect access in cipher. Name a Python module needs to import to invoke is that is pickle dynamic binding in oops the process of linking method call to the mother method at definition at runtime. OFF operation at the which OSI layer network layer. 171 cryptography user single key both encryption and decryption symmetric cryptography to exploit instruction level parallelism inside a single or processor commonly used pipelining used to optimize network performance by reducing overhead acknowledged piggybacking. According to Filene's taxonomy, most general purpose multiplexing are MIMD in single tier DB, where DB apps logic user interface all component resides on the same machine. Seek method is file object, not a valid hash function requirement collision resolution. In connected graph, n nodes is n how many cycles exactly one. If two processes are reading the same shared default data without no race condition occur. Examples supervised machine learning is dysentery. The guaranteed access rule. The guaranteed access rule states that every data is index number, row position, column position. Page replacement algorithm has the lowest page faults, that is optimal page replacement. Most common security scheme employed in firewall denying by default, allow by exception. SQL operators test if the subquery value is consist of an operator. When security standard IEEE 802.11, not a measure of code size, cyclometric complexity, data coupling, inappropriate use of data mining to uncover the misleading relationship in data. RAD phase used for adding, modification, deleting, process modeling. Which two layer Ethernet operate, data link layer and physical layer. Which two layer Ethernet operate, data link layer and physical link layer. Project operation used for producing new relation with only subject attribute relation. Mutual exclusion problem occurs when among process that shares resources, not a characteristic of OLTP. Index data connect be accessed easily. Graph with cycle in wait for graph memory deadlock possible. Not notations generally used to represent IP address unnecessary dotted decimal notation. Early binding and late binding in OOPS. Early binding provides better performance while late binding offers more flexibility. 3-layer architecture uses label as user sees label is external processing data. Warehouse primary support overlap. Real-time OS design work within the strictly is embedded system. Network congestion occurs in case of traffic overloading. Task set Pattern in software engineer check breaks down large task is decomposition. Term is label name in CMM repeatable. Term is label name in CMM repeatable. Block zipper mode of operation CTR. Block zipper mode of operation CTR. Both first and best fit latency strategy of memory allocation is external fragmentation, a data warehouse organized around important subject areas.